Hello, friends. I'm your host, Dave Layton, and welcome to Signs of Our Time, discovering America's heritage, one sign at a time. This podcast is designed to provide the story behind the story found on America's roadside historical signs.
As summer weather approaches, many of us began thinking about cold treats. Places to buy ice cream get busy. Cool treats begin calling our names. And somewhere, somebody is already debating the perfect milkshake flavor. Yet among all the frozen desserts America has created, few are as iconic as the banana split. As I think about cold treats, I was wondering where the banana split came from. And as it turns out, the answer leads us to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, where an ambitious young drugstore employee and even an official historical marker. To understand the banana split, we need to travel back to the early 1900s. It was the age of soda fountains. Drugstores across America often featured lunch counters where people gathered for sandwiches, sodas, ice cream, and conversation. These soda fountains became social centers for communities long before fast food chains and coffee shops appeared. Young people met friends there. Families gathered after church. Travelers cooled off during the heat of the summer. In many ways, the soda fountain represented small-town America at its finest. Well, our story centers on a young man named David Evans Strickler. In 1904, he was a 23-year-old apprentice pharmacist at Castle Pharmacy in Latrobe. Now, pharmacists in those days did more than fill prescriptions. Many also worked the soda fountain. Creativity mattered. A clever dessert could attract customers and build business. One day, Strickler experimented with something new. He took a banana and sliced it lengthwise. I'm already surprised because bananas must have been hard to come by back then. And then he added 3 scoops of ice cream, vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. He covered them with toppings, syrup, whipped cream, nuts, and cherries. The result was large, colorful, extravagant, and unlike anything most customers had seen before. And the recipe for a traditional banana split remains the same today. In case you're wondering, his treat cost a whopping 15 cents. Now, that may not sound like much today, but at the time it was considered expensive for a dessert. Yet people loved it. The banana split quickly became famous. And by the way, today a typical banana split costs almost $6. Eventually, the town of Latrobe embraced the story so strongly that Pennsylvania placed an official historical marker, recognizing the city as the birthplace of the banana split. Today, visitors traveling through western Pennsylvania can actually stop and see the marker honoring this frozen creation. And honestly, that feels wonderfully American. Some historical markers remember wars, honor presidents, and some mark battlefields and major inventions. And some proudly celebrate ice cream covered with chocolate syrup and whipped cream. There is something delightful about that. Well, of course, history always enjoys a good argument. Another town, Wilmington, has also claimed connection to the invention of the banana split. Food historians have debated the issue over the years. Who really invented it first? Who served it commercially? Who deserves the title? Yet Latrobe's claim remains the most widely recognized, especially because of the historical marker and supporting records connected to Strickler's creation. Sometimes history is preserved through documents, sometimes through monuments, and sometimes through desserts people simply refuse to forget. One of the things that makes this story interesting to me is that the banana split represents more than food. It reminds us of a period in American life where communities slowed down enough to gather together. People sat at counters. They talked face to face. Teenagers laughed and fell in love over sodas. The banana split became part of a shared cultural memory. Even today, many people associate a banana split with summer vacations and county fairs, old diners, grandparents, roadside restaurants, and simpler times. That's part of what makes historical markers so fascinating. They help us remember everyday life, not just famous events or people. The banana split may seem small compared to major historical events, yet it still tells a story about creativity, community, and American culture. One young soda fountain worker decided to try something different. People smiled, the idea spread, and more than a century later, travelers still stop to read a marker about it. This is the power of simple things done well. So the next time you enjoy a cold dessert on a warm summer evening, remember that somewhere in Pennsylvania, a historical marker quietly celebrates the moment a banana was sliced down the middle and transformed into history. And honestly, that may be one of the sweetest stories America has ever preserved. Well, friends, there you have it. A story behind the story from America's historical signs and markers. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I invite you to subscribe and continue listening as we bring more episodes about the rich heritage of our great nation. I'm your host, Dave Layton, and thank you for listening and safe travels.